Oh, we are the greatest sports has to offer. Michael Jordan ain't my goal. Oh, that's LeBron James. Clap his fingers, and all of a sudden we have balance in the league now.
Oh my goodness!
Come on, man. Knock it off. Knock it off.
Of course, I need to see my Kings come out on top.
You can't be serious.
It's too strong.
Oh, that man hungry. Oh, he is hungry, man. Kiss the baby. Welcome back to the NBA cast. It's been a long time coming, but this is the first show of 2023 now, right? We're 2023.
Yep, 2023.
Boy, you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. But let's go ahead and get right to the introductions. You know I can't do the show without the 18,000. Steve-O, what to do?
What up? What up?
And we got to bring in, some will say a college expert. I don't say that, but
heavy hitter.
Gotta have my dog Trey on, also known as Liftoff County Prep. Hey, it's good to see you, brother.
What's up, my peeps?
All right, so obviously I already said it. This show is going to be about college football. We have a lot going on, and the season just ended. With that being said, shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs, back-to-back champions. Trey, I got to give you credit. I mean, you said the season even started that you paid attention to the camps and practices, and you said Georgia looked like the best team even before the season even started. And sure as hell, they did it again.
They're taking over college football, so it doesn't even look like anyone was close this year. So hopefully next year something changes.
I mean, with them, obviously Stetson to me took a big leap this year. I mean, he looked a lot better than anybody wants to ever admit. He's going to be gone next year, right?
Yep.
So what's their quarterback situation looking like for next year? Does anybody know?
They got Brock Vandergrift. They're trying to get Walker Howard. They also got another 5-star on campus. So you would think they just plug in next player up.
So we should expect the same thing, because I know on
exactly.
I know on that defensive side of the ball, they started a lot of freshmen, or they brought a lot of freshmen in the game and rotated them, and I mean it didn't look like they missed a beat.
Unfortunately, they get the best of the best. So when you get the best of the best, that's what shows up.
Okay, you already kind of poked the bear, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask: is Kirby ready to take the reins? Is it about to be Kirby's game now? Or are we pulling it from Saban?
I think Saban's done. I'm not even gonna play. Saban's done. You look at the SEC.
What do you consider done though?
He will not win another national championship.
Ooh, did you not see the look in his face when David Pollock said that?
Oh, I love that look in his face. That was beautiful to me.
Oh man.
But he's lost his step. You can see it in the way Alabama comes out and plays. It's not the same thing. I heard an interview where Najee Harris came out and said, I cussed Nate Saban now about 3 times. I grew up an LSU fan, so I've known Nick Saban since I was a little kid. Mm-hmm. No one was cussing out Nick Saban in 2003.
Yeah, now.
He's scared of these kids now. These kids can bounce anytime. Yeah. They don't have that respect and that fear that they had before. So he's never going to produce a team like he used to produce a team. And they're going to play undisciplined. They're going to be selfish because they're all getting paid a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
And at this point, what if I'm getting paid already and I'm at Alabama, so I already think I'm the best, you lose a step.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you think? You think it's Kirby's game now, or you still think Saban's got it for a couple more?
I think it's more like 1A, 1B now. It isn't like, I mean, this is one of Saban's, I would say, talent level. This was one of his worst teams he's had in probably 5 to 10 years.
Top 5 picks.
That's two players. Come on, man.
Steve,
2 players.
Before the season, everyone was saying this is the most talented team Saban has ever had on both sides of the ball.
Uh-huh.
Now we're going to say that this was the worst one?
Definitely not. I mean, look at the offense. Look at the difference in the weapons that Bryce Young had versus the last 3 years. Obviously, Bryce Young wasn't the guy 3 years ago, but you get what I'm saying. The last 3 years, that wide receiver core took
That's
a
where
big step
But
down.
that's where I was going to
that's
go
their
with that.
fault for development. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
They're not developing the same anymore. And now the SEC
no, the
is
transfer
tougher.
portal. The transfer portal is making it a lot tougher for Saban.
No, not just the transfer portal. The SEC is tougher. We have Brian Kelly. We have a real coach now. He's not going to beat Brian Kelly every year. He's not going to beat Lane Kiffin every year. He's not going to beat Kirby every year. It's not easy no more. He is done. He has put a fork in it.
I will never say Saban's done.
See, you're scared of Saban. I ain't scared of Saban no more. Once I heard Najee say
He
he was
said
cussing
no
this
more.
man out and going back to California on the weekend, I was like, oh, he done. He done. And guess what? Since that team, Saban hasn't won a championship. And it's only getting worse each year. He's getting further and further away.
I mean, you just say that, yeah. I mean, I just see it as offensively, because and defensively for that matter. Defense hasn't been the same the last 2 years?
No, not just 2 years. Defense hasn't been the same since Trevor Lawrence carved them up in 2018.
Yeah, it's been a while. That defense is taking. It's like they started focusing on offense.
Yeah, and then like I said, this year, their weapons were they took a hit. I mean, you had first round picks flying off the board as all your weapons, and then this year you don't.
Steve, I got a question for you. How many first round picks will Alabama's offense have this year?
I am gonna say 1.
They're going to have at least 3. They
First
will
round
have
picks
at least
on
3
offense?
On offense.
Who? Okay, you got Bryce Young, and then who?
You got the left tackle, and then you got Jahmyr Gibbs, who's the number 2 running back on the board.
He might.
Jahmyr Gibbs is going to run a crazy 40.
I like Gibbs. Don't get me wrong. I like his game and everything, but at the end of the day, it's a running back. Running backs in the league are not going to go They're not going to go in the first round that often.
Exactly. That's the talent that Gibbs has. But that's the talent Gibbs has because he's not just a threat in the backfield. You can put him in the slot. Gibbs is the ultimate weapon. I don't even like Alabama players. So this is me speaking. I don't like that.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, I just know I haven't really been paying attention to the draft yet. I'm not going to lie. So I don't know too much. I know obviously Bryce Young, he's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
But as far as the other guys, I knew Gibbs was good. I watched Alabama. Obviously, he was the one guy you would hear from all the time. But as far as the outside, the perimeter players, they just were not there. Not this year.
And again, that's on Saban and his coaching. That's development. They're not developing like they used to.
You can say that. I mean,
let's do this. Let's do this because we were supposed to be congratulating Georgia, and we done turned this all the way but I did like that conversation. That was great because that's something that was been on my mind ever since the national championship game. You know that it's almost like you were watching the keys get handed over. But we'll see. I mean, obviously Nick Saban's gonna have something to say about it. That's time's gonna tell. So, with all that being said, speaking of Georgia, they're bringing in another elite haul in the recruiting class.
Yep.
How many 5 stars is it for them now? 4? 5?
Too many.
They're stacking again. Obviously, they're stacking on the defensive side of the ball as always.
Yeah, they're still bringing back Brock Bowers.
That baby Kelsey.
Brock Bowers is the best tight end in college football history. He should have won the Heisman. He should have won the Heisman. The fact that he wasn't in New York is crazy to me. That is so crazy to me.
What did his stats turn out? His overall stats? Because where his numbers weren't like that. I didn't think.
I didn't think so. I didn't think they were either. I mean, he was good. I mean, obviously he was the guy on offense, but
so college football, the Heisman is the best player, right?
No.
What's
it's usually the best. it's usually the best player on the best team, which probably would be
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers. But at the same time, you also got to put up some crazy stats. Like you can't. I mean, Jamar Chase and what's his name? I mean, obviously he had Burrow, but Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson were putting up crazy numbers. And were they
But
even?
they weren't the best player on the best team.
You're right. They weren't. It was Burrow, obviously.
It was Burrow by far.
Well, going back to what we said earlier, y'all really gonna sit here and say Stetson Bennett ain't the best player on that team?
Yes, absolutely.
He is
didn't you just say that?
So Stetson, okay, and who ended up winning? Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah.
That the last 2 years, the Heisman has been so weak.
It has,
because it feels like when we were kids and Troy Smith was winning the Heisman, and like people you're never gonna hear about again.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was a media darling pick, and the fact was a lot of people started losing at the end. So I feel like they started ruining Heisman chances. I mean, look at C.J. Stroud. You know, C.J. Stroud basically lost his Heisman chances when they lost to Michigan.
To me, he lost them earlier than that against Penn State. But that's just me.
Yeah, Stroud lost it definitely against Michigan, in my opinion, because he was still in there. But and then Bo Nix, he fell off. I mean, I don't know if he would have ever won it just because Jordan. Don't look at me like Bo Nix wasn't in the conversation. Get the fuck out of here. You know, for Heisman, yes, he was in conversation. Yes.
When we were in the first game of the season,
the
first game of the season. Am I the only one that does not remember Oregon Atlanta?
Yes, exactly. Like I said, I don't think he would have ever won it because of the first game of the season. But I mean, you can't. The first game of the season, you kind of like if you get blown out. I mean, it's kind of like it's going to stick with people. It don't matter, but it do at the same time because it will stick with the voters. It does stick with the voters. But
I just don't remember any Heisman winner ever losing a game by 49 points.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, he probably would have never won it. He may have got an invite, but like I said, because of that first game, he probably would have never won it. But at the time when he was getting in the conversation and everything, he was leading the whole FBS in touchdowns accounted for.
Because y'all play a sucky schedule besides Georgia.
Oh man, this guy. All right, keep dogging the Pac-12. I mean, we had what 5, 6 teams. I don't want to get into it because you're going to be like,
you're going to say win the bowl game because no one gets.
No, I was going to say win 10 games. 10 games.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, I would think so. What?
All right.
That shows no disparity in your conference. I mean, your conference sucks. It's top heavy.
Hey, we're doing it again. We are doing it again.
Sounds like the SEC.
We will. I'm about to.
How many championships do we have?
Listen, okay, please. Can we please? All right. Back to the Georgia Bulldogs for the third time tonight. We're going to say this one more time. Congratulations to them. And clearly, I see you guys don't want to talk about Georgia Bulldogs. So let's go ahead and skip right over to it. And let's go ahead and go to recruiting as a whole. Obviously, there's still a lot going on. There's some big names going on. The biggest conversation, well, there's 2 names that's probably just taking over the recruiting world right now. I'll go ahead and let you guys go ahead and call them out.
What, Nicholas Harbor?
You know, they ain't nobody worried about Nicholas Harbor at this very moment. Right now, it's all about Money McClain and Jaden Rashada and everything they got going on right now.
Well, the Jaden Rashada thing is, that's just
that's some crazy stuff.
You should just let him go to Miami.
Bro, who they think they were, man?
13 mil.
13 million.
That's a rookie contract in the NFL, and this is coming out of high school.
And see, now this is one of the things. So now that we're seeing this with NIL, when this happens, what is that young kid supposed to do? Because now Tom's basically running up. A lot of schools already got their guys in. He's kind of effed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
say that he could walk in anywhere right now and just pick his situation. Because now he knows exactly what the landscape is.
But at the same time, how many teams still have that spot open?
Open. That's what I'm saying.
There's a
'Cause-
playoff team that just lost their starter, or two playoff teams actually.
Yeah, TCU and Georgia.
TCU and Ohio State.
Well, we
Ohio
don't
State
know.
found a
Hey,
kid
quick-
from South Dakota.
Wait, we don't
Quick
know about
question.
CJ.
Hey, yeah, CJ Stroud has not declared yet. He has till
Brett,
Monday
if he
to
turns down a top 5 pick, that's
Well,
crazy to me.
It is.
So I
It
heard
is.
someone was going to give him. I mean, it isn't
I heard
that much compared to other ones. I heard like close to like $500,000 or maybe over $500,000 for the last season if he was to stay, and then he'd also have a shot to win the championship.
I mean, he has to care about college
'Cause
football more than anything. But
Yeah, that's gotta.
because if anything happens to him,
He's over.
Yeah.
he's playing with his
Lost
money.
everything.
Yeah,
He lost
I mean, it's going to
everything,
be
so.
it's going to be tough.
If Ryan Day's a real head coach, he tells CJ Stroud, "I love you, kid, but it's time to go make your money."
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm saying. So with Rashada, he's obviously in Florida. I haven't heard anything about him trying to double back and go to Miami. I don't know where the kid stands. I have no clue.
Well, he's not getting 13 mil from nobody.
No
I don't
one.
know what
No.
Florida was thinking. 13 million is setting a bad precedent for what you're setting up, because you just got Graham Mertz. You didn't pay Graham Mertz no $13 million.
All right.
What's he going to think when he hears that? Oh, you're bringing this kid for 13 mil, so why am I here? Because obviously that's your guy.
And after, so we had already had our conversations on NIL before. This is one of the biggest. This is one of the biggest things that made the NIL so difficult. It's so broad. It is so broad, and it's no rules. So now you're starting to see some of the chaos starting to come out with it. And
this is like year one in it. Year one, year two.
It's an issue, and I was talking about Cormani McLean. Well, what do y'all think is going on? You think his is NIL based too?
Oh, it's always been in and out. He was never supposed to be a Hurricane. He was supposed to be a Gator. He's from Lakeland, Florida, Marcus. Lakeland, Florida.
Gators.
How many Gators have come out of Lakeland, Florida? All of them.
All of them.
Except for Bowman, who was a 5-star running back a couple of years ago. And guess where he ended up after he transferred from Clemson?
Florida. Florida. He went back home. But that's the craziest thing. And he must have knew they were broke from the beginning, because it was supposed to be us in Alabama.
Florida, I don't know why their boosters don't want to give up that loot. If you're going to play big dog with the big dogs, you got to invest now.
You have to.
So quick question. Do you guys really think Cormani's situation is all NIL deal based? Because if you're a top corner, who's a better person to learn from than Deion? And then on top of that, you'll be matched up. The guy on the other side is Travis Hunter, who is arguably the best corner as well.
Right.
Which means you're getting picked on every game.
Exactly. So you're going to get picked on. I mean, if you're that guy, you're not going to get picked on.
Oh, you're going to get picked on because no one's going at Travis.
No
one's going at Travis Hunter.
No.
We had LSU when we had Derek Stingley his freshman year. Everyone was scared of him, so they went at Christian Fulton. Christian Fulton's a starting NFL corner for the Tennessee Titans, and everyone was picking on him because they didn't want to mess with Stingley.
Yeah,
that's what happens when you have that aura. When you have that aura and that reputation of having your own island, no one goes at you.
And I mean, I would love for the kid to come to Miami, but I'm with you. I'm with you, Steve. I would love for him. I would love to see him at least over there with Coach Deion, because I mean, Travis Hunter on one side and Cormani on the other is elite.
Yeah,
you feel that safety position with someone too.
Yeah.
If you're a secondary player, I have no reason. I don't understand why anybody would not want to play for Deion.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're in the secondary, especially corner, I mean, he'll get you to the NFL almost. I mean, not obviously a first round pick, but he'll get you to the NFL.
But here's the thing. So if you're saying it's just about development, then he should still be a Gator, because they got Corey Raymond. Mm-hmm. And how many first round picks does Corey Raymond have in the NFL?
Mm-hmm.
If it's strictly about
we're
development.
talking Deion. I mean, we're talking about Deion.
Corey
Deion
Raymond has
is a
developed more
Hall of
corners than
Fame.
Deion Sanders.
Well, yeah, because
I
Deion
mean,
is
yeah, come
fairly
on,
new.
don't
Deion's
start
fairly
that.
new.
Don't start that. Don't start.
I can at least argue that Florida is somewhat a secondary DBU. And then they have the coach that was at DBU for a while. So development, I kind of got to give it to Corey right now.
I mean,
until
yeah.
proven otherwise.
I mean, as of right now, yeah, because I mean, Deion is coached for what? How many years has he coached? 3, 4?
But
maybe?
We're talking about development.
But dude, it's if you're a corner, whose game do you look at?
Steve, he's doing this to you on purpose.
Very much.
He's doing it to you. He's doing it to you on purpose. You almost
right.
you was about to go down that rabbit hole. I just say
yes. I had him like
I was about to keep saying.
All right, now
right.
with that being said,
we'll see what Deion's really about, though.
I need to go ahead and break this down. We gotta actually take a minute. I'm gonna introduce this ad really quick, and we'll be right back with you guys. All right. Well, now that we're back, now that I done saved Steve from going down that rabbit hole.
Thank you, Mark.
Let's continue to talk about Deion in Colorado, man, because I am, all about Coach Deion, what he did at Jackson State. Absolutely loved every moment of it. Me personally, I wish he stayed one more year before he decided to jump off at the first offer. But you know what? While we own that, let's go ahead and talk about that, because a lot of people are real upset that he left. And you have people that's upset. You have people that's like, he should have just stayed there because he ain't gonna succeed in the Pac-12. Like I said, brother should have moved on, but he should have stayed one more year, finished out that chapter in Jackson State. And what you shaking your head no for, man?
He don't owe them shit.
He don't. He does not. I 110% agree. But some of the stuff that he was preaching, if you're gonna preach that, stick it out one more year, finish it out, and do what you gotta do.
You're only as invested as they're invested in you. For everything he did for that school, they were not invested enough.
I agree.
No.
They fudged numbers for their seating or how many seats they sold, just so he wouldn't get his percentage of the sales. Because he took his contract and invested it into Jackson State. So what do you think he was going to do with that money that he was about to get from the seat sales? Invested right back into it, but they're still hiding money from him.
Of course they are. They're not a very rich school anyways.
They're playing with the money. You're playing with the moolah. I gotta get up out of there.
Boy, you rich enough. Totally kidding.
Ain't no such thing.
Ain't no such thing, man.
Ain't no such thing.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I personally think he's gonna do very well at Colorado. I don't know if anybody who's listening, if you guys have Twitter, we are also on Twitter on the NBA Cast as well. We had very good conversation and interactions over a question: do we see Colorado making the jump into a bowl eligible team in year one? Obviously, last year they went 1-11, and so now you bring in Coach Deion. Deion brings in a lot of talent. He brings in a lot of talent. Is that talent is it going to translate to them being bowl eligible year one? All they got to do is win 6 games. I personally say yes.
I don't.
Well, I'm going to say he wins 7 because he's in the Pac-12.
I like how he just loves to throw that under the bus.
Well, go ahead.
He loves it.
Go ahead and defend it. Why don't you see it happening, Steve? Go ahead and break it down.
So Colorado, they won 1-11 because they just sucked. They sucked in just about every phase of the game. Their offensive line was terrible. His D line was terrible. Everything like that. Is Coach Prime bringing in top tier offense like trench monsters? I highly doubt it. He's going to get good skill position following, but at the end of the day, if you have nobody to rush the passer, nobody to stop the run, nobody to protect the quarterback, it's not going to look pretty year one.
But does he need that in the Pac-12? He's not joining the SEC.
He does. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
I mean,
like
he might lose to Utah, but the rest of y'all
is like a D2 conference.
When's the last time y'all won a national championship?
Oh my God, here we go. Yep. I mean, yeah, we've been there. I mean, not in the Oregon's been to the championship. We lost twice. We lost to Auburn, who at the time had, some people may say, one of the best players of all time, Cam Newton, and we lost on a last-second field goal. And then another time we got bum rushed by Ohio State. And
okay,
I mean, that's
I understand all that. Now, how many times has the Pac-12 made it to the playoff? And the playoffs going on its 8th year?
Let's see, the playoff. We had Washington and us.
Wow.
all two teams.
And we're in 8 years in.
Yep.
Wow.
Because we beat each other up, plain and simple. We literally beat each other up in the conference. Like,
because
Oregon
no team is complete
slips.
And no team is super talented.
Oregon slips like this year. If we didn't slip up at the end of the year and we lost to both our rivals, which made me want to cry.
There's only one team in the Pac-12 with potential to ever win a championship.
Nope, don't you dare say it.
It's obvious. It's the last one to win the championship.
No.
It's the only one that really ever wins championships.
Yeah, well, that was a long, long time ago.
Well, listen,
Steve, you guys have been in the trash conference since.
I'm gonna get on Steve for a second, because Steve says, when he comes in, he's not gonna bring anybody in from the line. He's already got 4 offensive line transfers coming in. He's still listen. It's not about what his position was. It's about the type of coach he is, and these kids are gravitating towards him, man.
Not just that.
They want to play.
The biggest hire he had was Kent State's head coach, one of the best offensive minds in college football. He's going to put up points.
But you're going to have a whole new transition.
Cool. Kansas did too, and they were 6-0.
What percentage of that team do you think is going to be new? Like, out of the starters, what percentage do you think are going to be new starters?
Oh, probably
all of them.
Yeah, it's going to be a solid amount.
And you think all of them are going to be able to just transition just like that? Because some of them are coming from, some of these kids are coming from not just D1 schools, but D2. Because, okay, you got to go. But
go ahead, Steve.
But anyway, like, I get it. Like, obviously, Travis Hunter, he's going to be able to, convert pretty easily to Pac-12 play, because he was the number 1 player coming out of school 2 years ago, out of high school. But the other players, some of them are coming from smaller schools. That doesn't always translate. It doesn't. And then you're having to get them to not only translate to Power 5 football, but also to a whole new system.
Yeah,
you're not going to hit on every
Power
transfer.
5.
Yeah,
closer to top
doing that, bro.
Well, listen, the talent's coming in, and it's not just you make it sound like he's just getting all these guys that's coming in from BFE. I mean, he's getting guys coming in from Michigan, Boise State. He's getting those guys.
I get it.
Not just that, he's bringing in top talent on his freshmen too. He got Dylan Edwards, one of the top ranked backs in the country. He got Mario Miller, former LSU commit. He's pretty good. He's got dudes coming from Georgia. He's got dudes coming from the South. Pac-12 teams don't get dudes from the South. That's the difference.
Oregon does, but that's
not
all right.
Really.
And the biggest thing I've always told people. Listen, I'm gonna ask you, Steve. In football in general, what's the difference between champion and the worst team in their division? What's the difference?
Coaching.
Quarterback. Think about all the teams in the playoffs. Think about all the teams in the NFL playoffs.
Okay, so hold up. You just said quarterback, right? You said quarterback, right?
Yes.
Okay, what was Stetson Bennett coming out of high school?
It's not.
Because
I'm not talking
he
about.
wasn't
I'm not talking about him coming out of high school. But look how good he is.
Yeah, that's exactly. He developed. He developed into this guy. You know why? Because coaching. You can't sit here and say
So
it's
now
not
you're saying
coaching, Mark.
so now are you
both of
saying
you are
Deion?
wrong.
So
The
now
most
you're saying
important thing is talent.
Talent.
I
You
mean,
could say that. You could say that.
You
but
can
at the
say that
same
Georgia
time,
won because they're the most talented team.
and
Alabama wins
TCU
because they're
got
the most
there.
talented team. Oregon doesn't
TC
win because they're not talented enough.
TCU got there because why? Coaching.
TCU got
They
there,
don't have the
and what
talent.
happened?
They
They
beat
got
fucking
They,
Michigan.
they got
beat
beat down
Michigan.
by freaking
Quick
freshmen
question.
because those
Michigan, where does
freshmen are more
hey,
talented than
hey,
any player
but
they
guess what?
have on their
Michigan. Hey,
team.
but look,
Where-
but Michigan don't
where
got a
does-
good quarterback either. So
oh my god.
So again,
I mean,
talent.
JJ McCarthy. What was JJ McCarthy? I'm pretty sure JJ McCarthy was either a 5-star quarterback or a highly touted.
5-star, but he still sucks.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm
Yes,
saying.
and Michigan
like,
was one of the most talented teams.
fucking damn, I keep falling.
It's talent.
Michigan
Nick
is a
Saban
talented
wins because
team.
of talent. Kirby Smart wins because of talent. They don't have these crazy schemes. It's because of talent. That's the difference.
Talent helps, but
Talent
you
is
can
everything.
say talent. Talent is not everything. I would
Okay,
say
tell me
it's
the
about
last team that won without talent. I'll
without
wait.
talent.
I will
Without talent?
wait.
What do you consider talent? I mean, okay, what you gonna say about let's see, those Clemson teams? Clemson wasn't getting.
They had number one picks.
They had picks, yeah.
They had number one picks all across the defensive line.
And let's not act like they're 2-generation quarterbacks back to back.
Like the fuck? Like, I'm sorry.
All right, whatever.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was a bad. What's it called? Bad example.
Boy, it looks like the score is 1-1 because boy, Steve got Wicks out of character for a second.
I had to remember where I was.
but listen, man, that's what I'm saying. And listen, he's gonna have talent. He's bringing in talent. We're not. Me and Trey have not said he's gonna come out here and just blow the doors off teams. We're not saying he's going to the playoffs. I simply say he's gonna be bowl eligible. And
I'm
another
looking at
thing,
the schedule, right?
yeah, and that's where I was going next. Because Steve loves to say that the Pac-12 is so damn difficult. Okay, Steven. I'm gonna let Trey take the lead. Let Trey break down the schedule so other people who's listening can see what we're saying.
So, first game out the gates is TCU. Okay, that's a tough game. TCU though just lost the offense coordinator and the quarterback, so we'll see how good they are next year. But that's an L. I'll give you that. Then they play Matt Rule and Nebraska week 2. This is Matt Rule's first year. Matt Rule's coming off being embarrassed in the pros. That's a toss-up game to me. I think Prime could pull it out.
That's going to be his first home game. Yes, that's a home game.
And then you play Colorado State, one of the worst teams in the FBS next year. The next week after that, that's another W. I'm at 2. Then you play Arizona State, who just had a bunch of sanctions handed down. I can see Prime being 3-1 by week 4.
That's what I'm saying. It's possible.
Don't sit here and act like Nebraska is going to be a walkthrough.
No,
I did. I said it's a toss-up.
We said it's a toss-up, but I see that being his first win.
It's also in Boulder, so I give them the edge.
You know that's gonna be a sold-out game first and foremost.
Because you're talking about people transitioning. Yeah. Nebraska has just as many people transitioning as Colorado.
Yep,
they do. Yeah.
Then you got Arizona you got Arizona on the schedule. That's winnable.
Yeah, Arizona. I looked at their schedule already because in that Twitter debate, I definitely brought that schedule up.
He did. So that's what I'm saying. Wicks, all I want you to do, Wicks, is I want you to give me the teams he's playing. And since Steve is so Mr. Pac-12, I want to hear what Steve got to say about these teams then.
So Arizona's at home.
Yeah, then Arizona.
Oregon State's going to be a good team next year.
Yes, they're going to be good. That's going to be an L.
Yes,
and then they got who else did they got at home?
They got Stanford at home.
That's going to be a dub. Stanford is terrible.
We're at 5-1 or 5-2.
And then read the rest of that schedule.
Okay, they got SC.
Yep, L. Go.
SC plays down to competition.
It does get brutal.
They're not going to lose that game. Anyway, keep going. They got Caleb Williams back.
This is automatic dub right here, Mark. At Oregon,
Yeah, I mean it's all good. We're gonna freaking win by I'll say 28 plus. But keep going.
I'm
I
gonna
got
keep that in
at
the archive.
UCLA.
At UCLA, L. Let's go.
At Utah, which
L.
that's the best team in the Pac-12, bar none.
That's crazy talk, but okay.
I mean, they bring everybody back. So, at
And we
Washington State,
we beat them last year.
you beat them last year, but who's the Pac-12 champ?
I don't care. That doesn't matter. But anyway, keep going. Hey, they're losing.
At
They're losing
Washington
their
State.
best offensive. That's going to be an L too.
I don't know
That
about
game.
that.
I don't
That
know.
game is gonna determine whether he's a bowl eligible.
So let's count them real quick. Okay, so me and Marcus counted Nebraska as a dub.
And
Colorado
I counted
State,
it as like an L.
Arizona State dub. Arizona dub. So that's 4. Stanford dub.
I think
And then
Arizona
he just
State
has to
beats
find
them.
one win. He just has to find one win. And in your
And he ain't
conference,
he
you
ain't
guys
gonna
don't play
find
up every week.
Yeah, I know we don't. You don't have to tell me twice. We be losing to teams like Oregon State and Washington at home.
That's what we're saying. Like Trey said, at that point, all they got to do is catch one person slipping, and I mean, it's possible, man. It's possible. I mean, they
You
do
got no
I
one's
see
talking
them
about
at
this
4 or
advantage
5
Colorado
wins.
has. Colorado's an elevation. You got to go up there. If you're going up there, it's not going to be an easy win.
I mean, you could say that, but I mean, everybody won over there yet last year.
Colorado had no talent.
Yeah, I know they had no talent. And no
Cal
coach.
didn't win because they won one game.
Cal was terrible. But yeah. I mean, we'll see. I don't see them as I see them as 4 or 5 wins. I see them beating Colorado State out of conference, and then I don't see them winning a road conference game, and I see them only winning Arizona and Stanford.
So you don't think they can beat Arizona State?
And they're gonna find a way to win. They can win that game. I don't see them winning that game.
Okay.
Who's left at Arizona State?
I mean, you still got Dillingham. They just brought in a new coach, Dillingham, and then they got
that Oregon guy, right? That Oregon, right? So
the Oregon OC, yeah. The one that went crazy.
Boy's so biased. Ridiculous.
Even though some people didn't want to. Some people didn't like Dillingham. I was a fan because he brought up that Chip Kelly style up tempo spread you out offense. But I mean, we'll see. Because at the end of the day, yes, he's going to be bringing in skilled players, but I don't know how much talent he's going to bring in the trenches. And that's how games are won, trenches. I don't care what you say.
Just know
Colorado's.
Yeah, they are. Utah won because of the trenches. What you mean?
Yeah, because they're the only physical team in the Pac-12. The rest of y'all soft cotton tissue.
Utah won in the trenches and sacked freaking Caleb Williams. I don't know how many times in the Pac-12 championship. That's a perfect example.
But that's only one team out of 12.
Hey, Oregon is pretty good on the offensive trenches. We gave up, what was it, like less than a handful of sacks all season.
Was Bo Nix not hurt during the season?
Yeah,
because he was getting hit.
He got hurt on a run against Washington, and it was never the same after that.
Very hilarious because I know what you're trying to do. Listen, so it's safe to say that 2 of us think he can get bowl eligible, and the $18,000 kid thinks it can't happen.
No. Since he's 18,000, I won 3,000 this year, so off one ticket, I gotta get at least 3K, kid.
Yeah. Just don't go around blowing it like I did.
So you want to be called a $3,000 kid?
I mean, if we give him nicknames.
The 3K kid.
Shout out to UConn.
Jesus.
Man, y'all are funny. I mean, all right, so we'll go ahead and leave Colorado and Coach Deion at that. The last real topic that I wanna jump into, and we kind of picked at it throughout the show, but obviously the NIL, because at this point, like I said, we've had it now for what, a year? We've had it for a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
About a year.
so now we've seen some things. Now I think it's we can all have a solid input on it.
Mhm.
Now I go to the original question. How do you guys feel about the NIL now? Now that we're a year in, how do you feel about it?
To
It's
be
gonna be
honest,
toxic for certain teams.
to be honest, I kind of feel the same as I did when it first happened. I felt like it was gonna be ugly in year one or year two. Like the first couple years, it was gonna be ugly. And like we discussed last time we were discussing about it, that mixed with the transfer portal was a recipe for disaster. And it's kind of showing. Because obviously with the Jaden Rashada, you got people offering stuff that they don't have. And then on top of that, obviously he's going to not transfer. I don't know where he's going to end up, but then you got other kids who are at like maybe a lesser school, and then they balled out, and now they're going to go to another school, and it's probably going to be highest bidder. So it's going to be interesting to see how it ends up.
What about you, Wix? How you feeling about it right now?
So I think some teams are going about it wrong. They're spending all their money recruiting, not worry about developing their players. It's going to create a toxic atmosphere in the locker room. And there's going to be some teams that implode during the season. It's going to be pretty fun to watch. I'm not going to lie.
And Texas A&M was one of those teams that imploded in the middle of the season.
Yep.
They're not going to be the only ones. I'm not going to say any names. Miami.
Oh, I already know what.
I know he was going to try to go that way, but I mean, if you look at our class, though, it's not like we didn't buy anything crazy.
Marcus, we just talked about dude you bought. We started the show talking about Carmani.
I didn't say we didn't buy nobody too crazy. Is what I was saying. You didn't let me finish.
We're going to pay him $3.5 million.
Give it to him. Get a boy that money. Get a boy the money. Honestly, after it's been a year now, I think there's a way to kind of fix it. But I think after a year and now that these young guys have gotten paid, some of them have already gotten paid and stuff, I don't even think you can do it anymore now. I think I heard Eli Manning say something about it. And I think it was Eli that said, maybe not be able to even receive an NIL deal until your junior year, something like that. So your first 2 years, you just come in and play. I mean, it can't happen now, especially when you can go to the draft. You can go to the draft after your third year. You just get 1 year NIL. I don't know. Can't do it now, but I feel like if that's something that they kind of started it with, it would have been more regulated. And then after this year passed, then maybe you can kind of adjust it from there. But right now, you just threw it out there with no rules, no regulations. So it's going to be very hard to double back.
But what happens when that player who had to wait 2 years, let's say Tyrann Mathieu, after 2 years, he gets kicked out the program, and all that money he would have made the first 2 years, he misses out on because he didn't make it to that third year.
I would say that's his fault. If you get kicked out of the program,
at that point, if you
let's say he doesn't get kicked out of the program. Let's say he tears his ACL.
That's a
He's
different
never
story.
the same player after that.
Yeah, that's a different story. It's gonna. That would happen.
I don't play with these kids' money. If you offer the kid money, pay the kid the money.
Agreed.
But the way the big programs are going about recruiting, we can get you your money, and we can get you more once you earn it. But we're not going to do bidding wars for you.
Right.
That's why Miami was getting people over Alabama. They're getting people over Ohio State because they're not going to outbid you. It's either you want to make it to the pros or you want the short-term money. And that's what happens. LSU, Brian Kelly already told everybody he's not getting to a bidding war for nobody. That's why we missed out on Desmond Riggs. That's why we missed out on different people. Is what it is. You don't want that kind of toxic player on your team anyways.
Right.
Someone who's only worried about
You shouldn't.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, now this is another question I asked when we first discussed it. But again, we're a year into it now, so now I'm gonna ask you guys again. Now that we've seen it, do you think the NIL is going to separate college teams, or is it going to start bringing talent level a little bit closer, piece by piece?
Closer.
Yeah, I think closer.
Because now these guys can get paid and go to somewhere like Colorado now. They can get paid and go somewhere, to Auburn and bring Auburn back. It's just I think the NIL. That's what I said. I think the NIL is good. I think they screwed themselves by not having no rules or anything, and now it's going to be hard to. It's going to be hard to adjust to it. It's going to be hard to regulate it. I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, they
I'd say
can.
it doesn't really need regulation.
So
If
you
you do
like
it
it the way it
correctly
is.
and you get it separates the selfish kids from the kids that are good program kids. If you want the selfish kids, it comes at a price.
Yeah.
They may be worth a win or two, but it's going to cost you at some point. Versus program kid who's going to help you win championships and build with you and earn that money at the same time.
So I know last time we talked about this, we brought this up. And do you think there should be a cap on it?
No, you can't.
Why not?
How can you tell me how much my name is worth? When Bronny James graduates this summer, how can you tell him how much his name is worth?
And that's very true.
I understand. I mean,
His last name is going to be
but
worth more
at the
than
end
any
of the day,
NIL deal
hey,
he's going to get.
Should any of these kids be able to make more than, let's say, a rookie in the NFL? Because like Brock Purdy right now, that man is making what? Like I think it's like $800K a year.
Yeah.
$800K a year. There's going to be freshmen making 10 times more than him in college. Like that should not happen. That should not happen.
You're only worth as much as someone says you're worth.
You're right, but not in the NFL because the NFL has a cap. You could only make this so much depending on where you go if you get drafted and stuff like that.
So you saying that's the NFL paying you though? Nike is also paying you. There's no cap. That's the thing. There is no cap. There's a cap for what you make in the NFL, but I got endorsement deals. That's what NIL is supposed to be, endorsements.
Yeah,
it's not supposed to be called. There is no pay for play. Colleges are not supposed to be directly paying you. That's the point. That's why there is no cap. These are endorsement deals.
I understand that. However, we all know.
I know it's the boosters paying. I know it's the college paying. But that's on the NCAA to catch.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why there can't be a cap. Because technically I got this NIL with G-Wagon. I got this NIL with Lambeau. I don't have it with Ohio State. Even though the Ohio State graduate is the one paying me.
Yeah, I understand that. But I feel like the NCAA, if they wanted to, now I don't know if they want to, but they could regulate it. They could, because technically,
if they regulate it, sued.
Technically, the kids are NCAA athletes. I'm not sure.
If they regulate, because they're not getting paid for the NCAA, they're getting paid for their name.
I understand.
If they try to regulate or take away this money, they're getting sued. Plain and simple. And that's the last thing the NCAA wants, because they're one thread away from being nothing.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's why I said the way they just threw it out there, excuse my French, but you know how I say it all the time. It was kind of one of those here nigga damn moments, like here, have it, whatever. They were so tired of hearing all that backlash over the video game, over kids not being able to get paid for their likeness, that they kind of just said, here, just have it, whatever, take it.
Yeah.
And it seemed like it was no thought process over it. There's no rules or regulations over it. And like Trey said, at this point, basically it's becoming highest bidder gets the player.
Highest bidder, yeah. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like they can, whether they want to and find an actual good way to do it. I don't think that that's going to happen.
Hey, Steve, you want to know something?
Yeah.
The NCAA president stepped down this year. You know why?
I know. Because he didn't want to deal with this shit.
Exactly. No one wants to touch this. This is radioactive. There's a reason why the Big Ten is adding USC and UCLA. There's a reason why the SEC is adding Texas, Oklahoma. The NCAA is on its last legs.
Yeah.
We're about to see a 2 power team conference.
Yep.
And whoever's left out is left out.
That's what it looks like. Oregon needs to jump on one of those conferences.
I don't know where they fit.
I don't either. I really don't. But we got Nike.
I mean, that's cute and all, but everybody got Nike when you think about it.
But Phil Knight could just take that away, and then we'll be the team.
Okay, we'll all be Adidas.
Hey, first of all, Phil Knight ain't taking away that extra money in his
Exactly.
pocket,
I was
man.
He ain't losing no money
He
over
would never do that.
Oregon.
That's way too much money that would be out of his pocket.
Yeah, man. But that's like I said. I just wanted to just see where y'all heads at about that now, because I mean, it's still going to be more drama that's going to come with it. There's still going to be more things. We're going to start wrapping it up here, but before I officially wrap this thing up, I just want to say shout out to LSU and all their scandals they've been having going on lately.
What scandals? First of all, I'm sorry to all the people who lost their lives in Georgia, but they were also caught with a staffer and a player together, because that happens everywhere. Miami, I want to meet Miami's recruiting staff. They're probably at least 10s everywhere.
I seen the tweet of you remember he got game wicked. So, Ray Allen was in the bed with 2 white women. They said that's what Carmody is right now up in Boulder. Just they're laying in the bed with 2 white women right next to
Jesus.
But yeah, I'm
Listen,
gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Then I gotta wrap it up because we can talk about it all day. There's so much still going on. We are gonna hop back on pretty soon. I really want to touch base with both of you about how your team's expectations and how you guys are going to hold up next season. But that'll be a different conversation for a different day. So I'm going to go ahead and thank both of you guys for being on the show as always. It's absolutely a joy to have both of you, especially when I get you two together. Because boy, if Trey could, boy, Trey would just keep reeling you in the whole show. And I did not feel like seeing you go down that hole today. I'm not gonna save you next time. You're on your hole next time. But again, thank you guys for coming. With that being said, we'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, follow, like, subscribe, comment. We're on all social media platforms under NBA Cast. We're also on YouTube as well. Go check us out. Also, shout out to Liftoff podcast platform as well. Film Doesn't Lie. You guys got to check it out. I'm hosting it with them as well, and it's a great show every time we're on it. Which you want to just give a brief explanation about the show really quick?
I mean, it is what it is. So film doesn't lie. So we just watch the best players film. Sometimes even college, NFL, doesn't matter. We break it down and we see what the true ballers do. Their film doesn't lie about nothing.
That's right. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Deuces.
Kingsy go crazy.